best we don't go there. You know, there's a saying in English that you slide like a hot knife through butter. And that's what you are doing today. You're sliding like a hot knife through butter. You saw nothing, you heard nothing, you did nothing. And you know nothing. So I'm wondering what it is that you came to do here today, and how you think that approach of I saw nothing, I said nothing, I did nothing, I heard nothing, I know nothing, is helpful, because it's not. Could you just tell me how you think it's helpful, please?
I thought, thank you, Honorable, thank you, Chair. I thought I responded to the questions that I have been asked to the best of my ability, and I didn't say I saw nothing. I said nothing, because I didn't say so. I spoke to what I saw, and I'm speaking to what I know. If there is a specific issue that the Minister the Honorable want me to talk to, if she can assist me with a question that can be helpful in that regard, I will be happy to respond.
You, like General Cassel, are very good at this. You look very polished, you present very well, you're very eloquent. And so, you know, you look like, forgive me, the average accomplished deputy minister in a government. And you do that very well.
Thank you for the compliments, but I was not aware about that.
No, I mean it, I really do. The difficulty is this, Mr. Mathale, is that you've been a deputy minister for a long time. This isn't the first time, is it?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And you have a long political career. You've been the premier of a province, granted a province that you drove into the ground, but
which is
virtually
incorrect.
Bankrupted it, but nevertheless.
Which is incorrect.
Yes, well, that's not what we're here to debate today, unfortunately.
But it's factually incorrect, Honorable. You can check the record of National Treasury that there was no such.
Yes, as I said, that's not the question. So the question is coming.
It's not the question, I agree, but it's factually incorrect.
So you've said.
I have never responded to the issues and the media statement around the Limpopo issue of being brought under Section 100, and not because I agreed with what was said, because I thought it's the right thing to do. And I can't, Chair, through you, allow a narrative here that misrepresent facts, because
you have disagreed with me, and that's fine.
The reasoning behind Section 100, why it was implemented, and the issues that were put on the table were incorrect. And
Mr.
National
Mathale,
Treasury itself...
Mr. Mathale, I'm asking the questions, not you.
Honorable Deputy Minister.
I am asking the questions, not you.
Honorable Breitenbach, let me remind the two of you. Honorable Deputy Minister, all the witnesses that appear before us, they come to us as the guests that we have invited. And Honorable Breitenbach, having invited the guests here, we have a duty to hospitality. Indeed,
quite frankly. So he's answered what was not a question, and I'd like to move on. And I'm not going to allow him to use up my 30 minutes by rambling on this issue. And that's just how it is.
May you please proceed and ask your question?
Yes, well, I will, if the guest will, keep quiet for long enough for me to ask a question. Mr. Mathale, you mentioned when you were talking to, I think it was Honorable Nomvalo, although it might have been Honorable Skosana. See, they both lost interest and left. That we're here today because of a memo that was sent? Or are you referring to the directive of the minister to General Mathale?
Yes.
And you said if it had not been for that memo, we would not have been here.
Yes.
So do I understand you correctly that your view is that the reason we are here today is because Minister Mqunu wrote a directive closing down the political killings task team with what he said was immediate effect?
Yes.
And we're not here to address the systemic ills that have beset the South African Police Service for years, for more than a decade. That's not what we're here for. We're here to address the memo. Is that honestly what you think?
No, the memo is a spark that ignited, and as a consequence of which Parliament must establish facts on the issues that General Mkhwanazi has raised. So you are not here necessarily to discuss the letter. That's why you are asking questions beyond the letter itself.
So Mr. Mathale, then, can you tell me why it had to take General Mkhwanazi to get up on a Sunday afternoon and make this public statement when everything he said is not unknown? It's nothing new. He didn't think of it on Sunday morning and get up and say it. These are problems that have been there for years and years and years and have been left unaddressed by one administration after the next. Why was it necessary for there to be a spark? Why was this never addressed? Have you any idea?
The problems, through your chair, that have to deal with the transformation program of the country and the issues related to that are complex, and dealing with them, it is going to take a while. It took us a while to arrive at 1994. And to create a perfect system from where we are going forward is not going to be an easy process. And I think this explains why we are here. And it doesn't mean that as we gather here to look at the challenges and how best to deal with them, when we rise out of this process, we will have a watertight process of policing in the Republic. We will experience difficulties from time to time. The magnitude won't be the same, because I believe this opportunity that has presented itself will allow us to be surgical in dealing with this problem. And when we reset, we will be resetting SAPS in an environment that will make it to perform much better, more efficiently, more effectively going forward. And I am convinced that we will definitely build a formidable institution out of what we are faced with today, because we are going to draw from the wisdom of all men and women who are gathered here as part of the ad hoc, and those that are appearing before you in my form, and others who are providing policing work out there who are not necessarily part of this, but they are going to be impacted on the work that we are doing here and in the commission, the Madlanga Commission. Thank you.
Has the acting minister, well, let me start with this. You said you don't know why you have an acting minister when you have two deputies.
I say I don't know why.
Yes.
No.
What did you say?
No, I said we have an acting minister now because the minister is on leave.
Yes.
Because the president wanted him to be on leave so that we deal with what we are dealing with here. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. So don't you think one of the deputies could have acted in that position?
Yeah, well, the president could have appointed anybody, including a deputy minister as minister. And of course, when the minister come back, you will have to then disappoint the deputy minister who you have appointed so that he becomes a deputy minister. But in his wisdom, the president appointed the acting minister in the name of Professor Kachalia, who is now a minister, because you can't appoint somebody who does not have executive authority to be head of the institution.
And has Professor Kachalia used that executive authority?
Yes, he is using it. Since he came in, he has assumed the responsibilities of a minister. We have a minister. It's just that we call him an acting minister, but he is a fully fledged minister, deciding on any matter that serves before him. It is not being served, it's not being executed by somebody who's acting, it's executed by an executive authority who is in office. Yeah.
I have no doubt that Professor Kachalia is perfectly capable of executing his executive duties.
Absolutely.
What concerns me more is, do we have two deputy ministers? Has he delegated any authority, function, work, anything at all to his two deputies?
No, we have met and we have discussed that matter, I think, a week or two back before he left for the trip with the president to Malaysia, Vietnam, and yeah, he's back. I saw him before I came here. He was with the National Commissioner. He will be able to delegate responsibilities, I guess, yeah. But we did discuss that matter with him.
Okay, well, that's at least promising a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I would have thought, though, that a minister who's faced with the problems in his portfolio that Professor Kachalia is faced with in his might have stayed in South Africa and dealt with him instead of going on a jaunt to Malaysia. But never mind. As we know, people love to travel. So I would have thought that while the country is burning, perhaps he shouldn't fiddle. But you know, who am I? So tell me what it is, Mr. Mathale, that you do every day when you go to work. Just a brief synopsis of what your day looks like, bearing in mind that nothing has been delegated to you.
Well, we have a monthly program that guides what we do on a daily basis. For next month already, I have a draft program. The fact that we are not delegated responsibilities does not mean that we don't have responsibilities that we are dealing with as a ministry. So we do have that, and we deal with them.
That is what you answered one of the previous questions, but I'd like to have a little bit more meat on that, please. Like what?
Well, it depends on what I'm supposed to do on a Friday. It can either be things that have to do with the civilian secretariat for police, or IPID, or CIRA, or sometimes various divisions within the police that we are dealing with. Those are the things that one will deal with.
Okay. Tell me, if you were the Minister of Police from Monday, what are the first three things you would do to fix the police service?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not.
You've already told us you have all this optimism and you know it can be fixed. And so
yeah,
I
do. I do believe it can be fixed,
well,
definitely.
Then you must have ideas. Share them with us.
Well, stabilizing the police and ensuring that we have a team that is operational, that work together. That will be my priority. But I've never thought about along those lines because I believe. But if I'm given that responsibility, definitely, I know what needs to be done. And
okay, Mr. Mathale, that's a platitude. You'll forgive me. Stabilizing the police force and creating a team to make sure you get the job done. That's like you can read that on the back of a chappie's wrapper. What will you do to make that happen? How will you do that? Tell me.
Well, the first thing to do is to interact with the National Commissioner and his deputies and the various divisions that are there, and the provincial commissioners, the Director General for the Civilian Secretariat, and the Executive Director of IPIT, because this is a team. Though they do different things, but they are supposed to work together in a manner that they all understand their different roles, but how interdependent the three institutions are. Because even when they were constituted, dependent, but that are interdependent at the same time.
What would be the first thing that you would do to rid the South African Police Service of corruption?
One of the things that needs to be done is your lifestyle audit of all senior members and ensure that everybody adheres to what have been put in place as the rules that must be adhered to, be it in supply chain, in human resource management, and in the main, there must be consequences for any wrongdoing. And it should be done through a fair and transparent process, but consequences must be there.
So you're talking about accountability?
Absolutely.
Would you agree with me, Mr. Mathale, that years, decades of this approach that connected people, politicians, high-ranking individuals, net worth individuals, slide through butter like a hot knife with no accountability, has led to the South African police being in the mess that we currently sit with?
The Honourable, there must be accountability, and that is non-negotiable. If anybody engages in wrongdoing, there must be consequences. The absence of that will create a problem of paralysis, because they look up there and they see this one doing wrong things and there are no consequences, and the juniors will follow. So you can't allow that to happen.
You and I agree on that,
yeah.
Oddly. But the question is this: do you not think that it's precisely that thing, that culture of no accountability, that has led us to where we are?
Lack of accountability creates a problem. There must be accountability. There must be consequences.
The question is a real question, Mr. Mathale, not an abstract one. Do you agree that decades of no accountability have led us to where we are? It's not what happens if, when, how. We're here. We know there's a mess. I put it to you that that is the reason we're in this mess, is this culture of no accountability.
We are agreeing, Honourable
Thank you.
Buitenberg, that there must be consequences.
I have no further questions. Thank you, Chair. And Mr. Klopper will only use 10 minutes of the remaining time.
Before I give you a standing ovation, can I just hear you saying Honourable Mathale?
Honourable Mathale. Why?
Thank you so much.
Why?
No, the thing is, I heard you repeatedly say Mr. Mathale, yes. Mr. Mathale.
Honourable is not a title I insist upon.
So I just want to hear you saying Honourable Mathale. And
Honourable is not a title I insist upon, and I think it's a little over the top for everyone in this room to insist on being called Honourable somebody, quite frankly. But anyhow, there, I said it. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy that you said Honourable Mathale. And thank you so much, Honourable Breitenbach. Honorable Topper.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good day, Honourable Deputy Minister. You stated in paragraph 24 of your witness statement that you're not aware of any factionalism in the police service and that differences of opinion are normal. In paragraph 50 of former Minister Cassel, his statement, he tried to raise the PKTT issue with the Minister Mchunu. And I say this, and I quote from his witness statement, "The Minister informed me that I should stay out of the matter." Deputy Minister, would you say that there's some disconnect in the handover process between the former Minister and the current Minister?
Well, the information that I have or were given is that there was a meeting that dealt specifically with the handover between the former Minister Cassel and the current Minister.
I found out it was an hour long. Would that cover everything that needs to happen? And then there was no discussions after that?
I don't know how long it took. I was told that they met.
Okay, thank you, Deputy. Minister, the committee has received multiple statements describing entrenched divisions among senior officials. And again, I tell you, or I put it to you that you say you're unaware that factionalism exists in the operational level. Let me just clarify. The National Commissioner versus the Deputy National Commissioner with the different accounts on how to handle the PKTT. Their statements are dichotomous. The National Commissioner says he instructed General Sabia to leave the matter to him, and General Sabia says that the National Commissioner told him to proceed. Opposite versions. And then we have General Makunazi that made huge allegations on the 6th of July, implicating many senior officials, and for all intents and purposes, SAPS seems to be completely fragmented at the top structure. And this was evidence in the statements in this House. And given this, Deputy Minister, I ask you again, do you still think that there's no factionalism? And would you consider the allegations and seeming power struggle between these generals, Masamolo, General Sabia, General Makunazi, which has seen the formation of the Mandanga Commission as well as this ad hoc commission or committee, as just mere differences of opinion?
But how do you come to the determination? Thank you, Honourable Member, for that question. Thank you, Chair, through you. How do you come to a determination that the differences of approach or understanding or interpretation of what is on the table is factionalism?
I'm asking you if you think it's a mere difference of opinion, Deputy Minister.
That's my understanding. That's why I in my explanation on my submission on factionalism, I have said there are instances where members don't agree on a matter, and you can't subscribe that to factionalism. If you look at at face value what we are dealing with here, you have a statement made by General Mkwanazi, and then you as a consequence of that, you then have the submissions that they have made here from the National Commissioner and the Deputy National Commissioner. These are three individuals who have made submissions that are not necessarily saying the same thing. I can't characterize that difference as factionalism. These are differences that they have in an approach. Hence, I say, and I believe I'm correct in my view, that in the body, South African Police Service, the institution, you don't have factionalism there. You do have difference of opinion as displayed with the issues that we're dealing with here, but we can't, through your Chair, characterize this as a reflection that SAPS is infested with factionalism.
Thank you, Chairperson. I really have very little time, so I don't wish to be rude and cut you off. Because there's been so much play, Chairperson, in this House on words, I would then ask you in a different way, Deputy Minister, and to think of factionalism in a differently reworded way, because all the explanations come differently. And factionalism is two groups within an organization that has a different view and interests at heart. So maybe factionalism in the context of SAPS should be phrased as corrupted SAPS members versus uncorrupted SAPS members. Crime implicated drug cartel SAPS members versus great hard-working policemen and women. Maybe it should be phrased as brown envelopes to certain individuals within SAPS versus hard-working policemen and women who earn their salaries the right way. Maybe it should be put as SAPS members serving their own interests versus the interests of those of South Africans. Would you agree with that version of factualism in the SAPS, Deputy Minister?
Obviously, I won't. Police officers that are honestly doing their work and serving the country to the best of their ability can be characterized as a faction. They can't. It will be wrong of us to make such a determination, because these are officers, professionals who are doing their job, and they are doing it well. They can't be characterized as a faction.
Thank you, Chair. Then I'll rest there because it doesn't help us start another line of questioning. My time will run out. I thank you, Deputy Minister, for your time. Thank you for your answer. And let's just hope that those hard-working South Africans do know that we as a committee do see them. And we see them on top of a faction that chooses corruption over earning their salaries the right way. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. They need your support, Honorable, through you, Chair. And we appreciate the support that you are giving.
Thank you, Honorable Topper. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
You want to speak? Honorable Nomvalo, follow up. You must be ready, Honorable Mathale.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Chairperson, for your courtesy. Minister, just want to be specific when I ask this question, because I think we've been too general. Is there no faction in SAPS, to the best of your knowledge, which consists of General Sibia, the Minister, and others, vis-a-vis a faction consisting of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the National Commissioner, Khumalo, and others? To the best of your knowledge. I thought that must be specific, Chairperson. Thank you.
No.
Or it doesn't exist, or no. you have no knowledge of it.
No. The names that you have outlined and the posture that they seems to have taken can't be subscribed to a faction in SAPS, because they are not SAPS. The fact that the minister is a minister of police, national commissioner is the national commissioner of police, that does not make them SAPS.
Honorable Mathale is 7 minutes past 5.
Chair, I'm having everybody's time. We agreed. No? Thank you, Chair Tobela.
Your time starts at 7 minutes past 5 and ends at 17:37. Thank you.
Okay, I'm moving, Chairperson. Tobela, Deputy Minister. I'm going to piggyback also on this issue of not having designated powers or responsibility, and it's almost 1 year later. But we're going to take the angle that your office, both the Deputy Minister's offices, have continued being funded fully over this period, while the Minister has not allocated you any designated powers. So it's actually funded for designated powers, but you don't have it. And I want to just put on record that between 23 and 2020, the 2023-2024 financial year and the 2024-25 financial year, the budget allocation for the ministry increased from 49.4 million to 63.3 million. So the projected growth here for this financial year is 119 million. So this is reflecting a 23.6% growth compared to the other sub-programs within the administration. And it's a significant increase Deputy Minister, and you know that because I raised this at the previous, when we had the previous annual report, because the average increase on other sub-programs for the administration budget is 4.6%. So, Minister, just speak to Deputy Minister, oh, maybe I'm projecting, calling you Minister already. Just speak to us about what tangible value, I know you've been saying that you've been, you know, undertaking duties around there, but in terms of designated powers and responsibilities we are bringing in terms of policing, oversight, and service delivery, if you actually don't have the designated power or responsibilities, it's like you're just there, even when you come to the, both the deputy ministers, which you regularly attend, is the portfolio committee meetings. And it's really just a wrap-up, and you give some political overview, and then it's done for the day. So how does that match the budget that we are spending in the office?
Thank you, Chair, through you. Thanks, Honourable Member. We don't appear to committees just for the sake of appearing. We are appearing as part of our accountability. And as members of parliament, we account to you. And the constitution says that deputy ministers are accountable to parliament, and and we do that through parliamentary committees that you preside over, including this ad hoc committee that we are appearing before today. We have made meaningful contributions, some of whom I have outlined earlier on, Honourable Member, when I was responding to some of the questions that were raised. And one key example is the organizational structure that we have adopted now, which is a product of our contribution, working together with the personnel in the office, and other programs that I spoke to. I spoke to Operation Chanela 2, which is an escalation of what we had before, and it is a product of our contribution to the discussions going on in SAPS. And yeah, these are just but a few that I can mention.
So, Minister, Deputy, I'm saying it again.
No
Deputy
problem.
Minister, you're saying the same thing, and you're not answering the question. Your budget allocation is for a Deputy Minister that has designated responsibilities. When you come and account here, you're not accounting as a Deputy Minister, you're just representing the Minister because you don't have a designated, both deputy ministers don't have that. So essentially we are saying that also the minister, Kuno, has even failed. It's wasteful expenditure because he's taken over a year just to give responsibilities. And I don't buy that story that he needed an entire year to work out what's happening in the police. That's why we had handover. So he could have even continued on what the previous ministry had done. And as he was moving along, where he saw the gap, he could have changed it. I am so sure, and you'll answer me, Deputy Minister, whether once he assigns a role, it cannot be changed after. Maybe you should answer that.
No.
Because a whole year of spending that much money on deputy ministers that do not have designated powers and responsibilities should be a problem.
Thank you, Chair, through you. It doesn't mean that because there were no signed off designated powers, we were not given responsibilities to do as the deputy ministers. We did, and there are things that we're involved in, as I've outlined there as an example. Obviously, the 7th administration was going to have an increase within the ministry because we have 2 deputy ministers, not 1. And that in itself was going to lead to an increase. There's no way that you can add an extra person and there are no there's no impact on the budget. It will definitely be there.
And that's exactly the point. We've been allocating budgets without the designated responsibilities, and we are not saying that you didn't perform duties. We are saying that the minister has failed himself to fulfill his duties on making sure that his deputy ministers have designated responsibilities, that they can come and answer for their designated responsibilities over here. Let's move on, please, DM. You've been a deputy minister for 6 consecutive years. So what's your understanding? And you were a bit wishy-washy on the constitutional roles between the minister and the national commissioner. You haven't come out very clearly on that, so maybe if you can just speak to that for about a minute, please, DM.
Can you repeat your question?
What's your understanding of the roles between the minister in terms of the constitution, between a minister of police and a national commissioner?
The minister gives, thank you very much. The minister gives directives and develop policy, and the national commissioner implements. That's, yeah.
And then clearly you are saying that the minister did overstep in giving directives that the political task team must be disbanded.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, tell me what you're saying, Minister. That's what I'm asking you.
I said he develops policies and
Mm-hmm.
gives directives in terms of the constitution.
No, I'm saying throughout the day, throughout your testimony. So you haven't. That's why I'm asking, because it hasn't come out clearly. Do you think the minister overstepped in his when he sent that letter to disband the political killings task team?
Well, I can't say he overstepped, because the legality or to say the law does not allow that.
So he was within. Okay, I got you. You answered this question that you weren't part of the meeting between former Minister Cassel and Minister Qunu on the handover meeting. So you wouldn't be able to answer if the minister was briefed on the IMC. Let's move to... The minister spent a lot of time saying that he engaged both his deputy ministers, I think on the 21st of November 2025, where he discussed the disbandment of the PKTT. So what we're not getting here, DM, is that there seems to be like this beating around the bush on what was actually discussed. So we had the minister always going on about this work, this work study 2029, the complaints he was getting about the PKTT, but there was, and the new onogram. So these were some of the things that informed the decision. Yeah. But it seems like there was never an open discussion, or maybe we're not being told, and we're asking you now, was there an open discussion, given that we are moving and we're setting up this, murder and robbery unit, we are going to shut down the PKTT? Like, was there a discussion like that? Or we were just talking around the bush that, okay, if we're going to empower the murder and robbery unit, that means that this PKTT is going to go. So help us out, please,
Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Honorable Member. I think what we should do or understand is that the work study was not necessitated to address the PKTT task team. The work study produced the organizational structure. And the organizational structure was not an organizational structure for the PKTT. It was organizational structure for policing. in the country to deal with everything that has to do with the work that police have to do. And we arrived at a structure of SAPs. This is how SAPs must look like in order to deal with the challenges of the day. And of course, within that, we must take into consideration crime intelligence. That structure as well was part of the structure that came, which was not there in, the process started in the 6th administration and got concluded in the 7th administration. It has got nothing to do with whether the PKTT must disband or not. It's a separate process. The dissolution is a different discussion altogether. And yes, we did discuss this, including the political killing task team.
Okay. So and again, that's what we keep getting, is that this onogram, we're moving in this direction. We didn't discuss the PKTT in particular. But how is it that the ministry did not know that just disbanding the PKTT is a ticking time bomb, and they should not engage those who are involved to at least smooth the waters out? I mean, you, Minister, yourself, you are Deputy Minister, you're a seasoned politician. You know that when you're making decisions that are going to affect people, affect people's livelihoods, the first thing you do, even if you're going to stick to your decision, you call them and you have a meeting. Right? So I'm again asking, in those discussions about the new onogram, am I saying the word correctly? That word. Was there the discussion that because of this PKTT is not? It wasn't, right? Because we were just beating around the bush to say this is how we're moving, and anything else that's not there, we're not going to mention it. We're moving like this. But did you, the other Deputy Minister and the Minister have a discussion, in particular on the 21st or 22nd of May, around that time, where there was an agreement that you're going to disband the PKTT because it doesn't fit into how we want to move as the ministry?
Yeah, I'll answer that by talking to the presentation through you, Chair, that we made to the committee. Wherein we submitted that there will be a phased-in approach on the issue of the PKTT. And this presentation, when it was presented to the committee, the delegation was led by the Minister and the National Commissioner. And I said, that is the presentation that was made by SAPS to the committee on what is going to happen, and that's what is happening.
Okay, so before we get to that meeting, I'm saying, was there the discussion? So you're saying that the discussion you had with you and the two deputy ministers, the discussion in November was around a phased-out approach. And then that was presented in the portfolio committee later.
No, there was a discussion around the dissolution of the PKTT before the letter, and then the letter came, and there were interactions that led to the presentation that we made.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and it is that presentation says, this is the perspective of how this process should unfold. We are presenting to the committee. That's what I'm saying. When I say we, I mean led by the minister and the National Commission.
So there was an agreement between the two deputy ministers and the minister that the PKTT must be disbanded. So you were just shocked when you saw the letter because you didn't, I'm asking, you didn't expect that it was going to be issued as a directive on New Year's Eve. Were you surprised that the letter was sent, or were you surprised about the content, about the disbandment?
It's the letter.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And what it was saying should happen and how.
Okay. And then let's go to the portfolio committee meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You attended, and then towards the end, we had the KZN commissioner mention Brown Mokosi implicated the minister for knowing him. Did you have a debriefing after that as deputy ministers and the minister about what happened in the portfolio committee meeting?
We were on virtual. We're not physically.
So you don't have. So you
I think I was in Cape Town myself. Yeah. Yeah.
So you didn't, because you earlier today you said generally before you go into portfolio committee meetings you have a caucus.
Yeah.
So only when it's physical sitting, not when it's virtual.
The issue of the briefings depending on where we are. All of us, if we are not in Pretoria or here in Cape Town, we'll do it virtual.
Okay.
And of course, the issue of Mokhosi we will not have had a briefing, because if we had had a briefing, it will not have reached the portfolio committee.
No, I'm saying after, so a debriefing. When it came up, it was like, that was a hot meeting.
Yes.
What was the KZN commissioner on about? There was no discussion. You just went your own separate ways, and life went on until we had the media briefing. Is that what happened?
No, not until we have the media briefing. The issue was raised, who is this Mokhosi? Yeah.
Yeah, now tell us about that. How
No,
was
I'm
it?
saying
We want to know. That's what we're here for.
No, after that.
So who did you have it with?
Hello, with the minister.
And?
No, I don't recall whether
you
Natcom
do
was there.
record.
But,
There's no way you don't record that.
no,
I'm
no,
sure
no,
you
no.
even went through it in your head a few times.
No, well, it might have been discussed more than once, but what I know is that the matter was raised with the minister, who is this Mokhosi. Yeah, and he assured us that there is nothing untoward about it. Yeah.
And then just two more things that I wanted to talk to you about. So you are, and we've highlighted, you are a seasoned government official, holding many ministerial positions over the years, a seasoned ANC politician. So were you shocked when you heard claims that, well, we don't know if it's true, it's still allegations apparently, that the minister is engaging a business person who has a tender, and I mean, it's one of the top 5 tenders in the SAPS. So whether you are involved in the process or not, it doesn't mean that you don't know about it.
Yeah.
To finance their campaign. Was that something that shocked you?
Repeat your question, please.
Okay, so former Minister Cele says that when he engaged Kat Mathale, he said that the minister had approached him to finance his presidency or his deputy presidency for the African National Congress.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you, that that's what happens, where we approach, within the political space, we approach business people, corporates or whatever to finance political leadership contestation?
Yeah. Look, the ANC, well, like the other comments that you made, that I'm a veteran and experienced on government committee things. No, I'm not. I think I'm learning, and one day probably I will become experienced, and I will be
not knowing who is running your health department.
No, I'm saying
health screening.
I'm saying the day I become what you say I am,
the minister
is still coming. In the ANC, you have people who, the ANC have got an approach on what to do and what not to do and how to do what you want to do. And there are individuals in the organization who choose to position themselves and doing anything that they think can make them arrive where they want to arrive. When it emerges that so and so has done this and that, some of the things unthinkable. Fortunately, I was fortunate enough to have worked with men and women who taught me the working of the organization and also prepared me not to be shocked when certain individuals do things that are an ANC. It doesn't matter who they are, even if the person is a president of the organization. If they act in a manner that is not in sync with the organization, I don't get shocked. I understand, it's possible that a person can betray the cause, because our cause, it's very complex, very difficult, very long. We are here today because of the challenges and the dynamics of the liberation struggle itself. You will have individuals from time to time who get compromised or who are part of the machinery, but they are there to serve a cause that has got nothing to do with the liberation struggle. They are being handled by other people. And at the right time, they make them do things that reverses the gain that we might have made at any given stage. So when such things happen, you must know it's possible, it can happen. Don't lose hope on the cause,
You weren't surprised.
because things like this will happen. And it has happened many a times
Yeah,
where
like with
people
Pala.
where people close to you were working with, they betray you. It has happened to me. I was detained and I got expelled from college, and when I was challenging that expulsion, we were given affidavit, and as we were going through the affidavit, I found one of the people who was an activist from the college, who has explained everything under the sun that betrayed
DM
the
is
cause.
talking about his
But
college things.
we didn't get despondent. We understood that
So
and
you're
said
not
it can
despondent.
happen.
I get you, DM.
Yeah,
You are
all
not
I'm saying is
despondent.
that when people do things they are not supposed to do, and it emerges that it has happened, they are not angels. They are human beings.
So that brings us back to the CR17 and seal bank statements,
Yeah.
because we've used state institutions to also hide what's on there. And this seemed that what was going on, and if it is indeed true, that we have political parties accessing businesses, whether it's through those that are having big tenders, corporates, or whatever it is, to fund their positions in leadership positions in political parties, then they come and they use the state institutions to seal that, so we don't even see what's going on. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Oh, one more question, just one more, Chair. You said that one of the things you will do if you are appointed minister is start the lifestyle audits. Let's even leave lifestyle audits alone, DM. We have a problem with just vetting, a lousy 600 officials that require vetting in SAPS. How is it that our National Commissioner is failing to do that? He came here and he told us he's starting the whole vetting process, but since I've joined this committee and I've read reports from even our officials in SAPS are not being vetted. There's about 600 that require vetting. How can you run a country if you cannot ensure that crime intelligence can vet 600 people?
I think that's one of the things that needs to be done to ensure that
But
that
that's
happens.
not answering the question. Why are we failing on something that basic? And you're saying that it's functioning, that SAPS is functioning, and there's just elements that is a problem. That's huge. It's not
Look,
an element. It's in the highest structure. 600 officials right now. We don't know how many of them have security clearance and they're occupying positions.
That is a shortcoming that needs to be addressed, and it will be addressed.
You are being such a politician, DM. Shortcomings, it's a disaster. The ANC is failing South Africans. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mathale, sir. Honorable Mwango.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Afternoon, sir.
We are constrained, we have time constraint today, so I don't have a lot of questions to ask. But I just want to say that it's amazing that after a year of your appointment, Honorable Deputy Minister, you still do not have a job description. And you are just not alone. You are two of you as Deputy Ministers. I think that is a cause for great concern, not only to us, but even to South Africans. However, I do want to take you to page 6 of your evidence in chief, where you were discussing the role of the Deputy Minister and looking at also the constitutional mandate of the Deputy Minister. But on paragraph 11, there is a telling comment that you are making there, where you are saying, and I quote, the interface between the executive oversight and operational authority within SAPS is constitutionally significant and institutionally delicate. I would invite the Honourable Minister to a little bit expand on that and just unpack for us, what do you mean? What is delicate about what you are actually saying here?
As I thank you, Honourable, thank you, through you, Chair. As I explained earlier when I was talking about the interface between the executive authority and the accounting officer, there is a thin line that draws the distinction. And I said that their relationship is dialectical in the sense that the minister gives policy and issues directives. But this does not necessarily mean that it's a one-way flow from the minister to the national commissioner. The two persons need each other, and they should interact in a manner that strengthen their responsibilities or makes them to become more efficient by working together, consulting each other. It be normal it must be a practice that when you see a national commissioner knocking at the minister's office or vice versa, it should not be ufuna anilo. It must go without saying that every week or in 2 weeks, in 2 times a week or 3 times a week, the national commissioner or the minister will be visiting the national commissioner's office and vice versa, and they will be interacting on any matter that have to do with policing. If you master that, which the constitution that just says that he gives the minister develop policy and give directives, it ends there. It doesn't say the minister must see the commissioner every week or every fortnight or every month, but practically the two must interact in such a manner that there is nothing that they don't talk about. It must not happen that you find a situation wherein the two can meet, whether in a funeral or a social occasion or anywhere, and there are issues that they need to deal with and they don't deal with them and they surprise each other. It mustn't happen. The matter that I think we have not mastered very well as a country, even though we are becoming better from experience, is how the two interface. If I'm appointed a minister or I'm given a responsibility of a government entity, when I arrive there, suddenly everybody who is there must be moved somewhere. I must bring new people because I can't interact with the person that I find in there. And in most cases, you don't have continuity in terms of those who were running that institution before you came. And all you need when you go in there, yes, you have got this executive authority, but you have it within a context of an accounting officer and vice versa.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. On page 9 of your evidence in chief, paragraph 20, you are actually saying, excuse me, if I may quote you, Minister Mkunu's approach was to allocate tasks as and when issues arise. This ad hoc approach has its benefits and disadvantages. Can you also elaborate a little on what are the benefits, what are the disadvantages of this approach?
Of having issues clarified earlier in the day, they are huge. But when you don't do that and you act as and when issues arises, you have difficulties. Difficulties that makes honorable members to persistently raise the questions they have raised about this non-delegation of responsibilities. It's not ideal. It's not good. It affects everybody, and even the staff in the office gets affected. They raise issues. My head of my office have been raising issues with me around these issues because they affect how they do things or how they have been doing things before. So the sooner a matter of this nature is resolved, the better. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. I know that the issue of factionalism has been actually discussed quite extensively, but I can't help but also go back to it myself because I'm not satisfied with the position that you have adopted on this matter. Because you state in your evidence, Honorable Deputy Minister, that, and I quote, you are not aware of any factionalism in the police services, and unquote. Yet, in the same breath, acknowledge that members, and I quote, appear to struggle to work together, unquote. And that there are, and I quote, elements who still defend apartheid system, unquote. How do you reconcile this contradiction? And would you actually agree that systemic mistrust, internal resistance, and parallel loyalties within SAPS are by definition markers of factionalism?
Not necessarily. Differences of opinion will never translate into a faction. When I spoke about the integration process, about those who served apartheid and those who were part of the non-statutory, in '94 when police integrated, we integrated police officers from the central government, from the Bantustans, the independent states, and non-statutory forces. By now, we're supposed to have concluded that process. But as we speak, Chair, we have the non-statutory project that has not been concluded. We are in court now by Solidarity. We won the case, even though the judgment came almost after a year after the hearing. And when we were supposed to move on to implement, the matter was appealed. And we are in 2025. We have not concluded that process. That is a problem. But it's a problem that we are bound to encounter given where we come from. The reason why I feel strongly that we we don't have factions is because the issues that you have raised, Honorable Member, the differences that you're speaking about, the issues that were flagged of criminal elements influencing the police, I don't characterize those as factionalism in SAPS. It's the fact that there are people who have been able to influence certain members in SAPS to work with them to do wrong things, but that we can't characterize that as factions in policing. These are elements that must be rooted out of the system. SAPS must be cleansed of these elements. We must not for a moment come to say those who are honest policemen, as Honorable Member from the Democratic Alliance have said, those honorable members, we must never, those good police members, we must never categorize them as belonging to a faction. That belongs to an institution, is SAPS. And those elements, we must always characterize them as elements that must be rooted out.
But Honorable Deputy Minister, it's 31 years after 1994.
Yeah.
Surely some of those elements that actually were integrated in 1994, most of them should be out on pension. So you could be talking about a small fringe of those elements, which cannot actually, muddy the waters, as it were, of the SAPS as an entire organization.
No, I'm not saying that those who came from the security branch, who have come into your crime intelligence, they are the majority of the officers that are there. No. The impact that they have on the transformation project is not small. They might be small, but the impact, it's huge, including the criminal elements. If criminals have been able to infiltrate the police and they engage in activities that are criminal, the things that they do have a huge impact. They might be small, but they do things that damage the image of police. When they say police are engaged in criminal activities, they are aggregating the police in general, including good police officers are viewed as men and women in blue who are involved in criminal activities. This means even those who are honest police officers are viewed that way. So the impact of these people is huge, and they always set us a step backward.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. General Mkwanazi has alleged that, and I quote him, sophisticated criminal syndicate has infiltrated law enforcement and intelligence structures. As Deputy Minister, what is your assessment of these claims? Has the ministry launched or supported any independent investigation into this? And now, and also, how do you differentiate between criminal elements and factional networks within and when their impact on command integrity essentially actually is aimed at eroding the trust and operational and bringing about operational paralysis in the organization?
I think the process that Parliament has started through the ad hoc committee will assist in dealing with this phenomenon that we're faced with. And of course, the legislature has started this process, and the executive have also initiated a process that is led by Madlanga, and your process is led by the chair, Honorable Lekhanyan. The ad hoc committee's work and what they are going to recommend will help us to deal with this challenge. Equally, the Madlanga processes as it concludes, because the issues that are also raised at that platform are going to assist us to address this threat that have been put before us. This forum in particular is not necessarily a forum of looking for wrongdoing. It is also a forum looking at what needs to be done, how can we do this. That's why your terms of reference and the issues that through your evidence leader you have asked us to do and to put, and there is an attempt in my presentation, for instance, to deal with the specific issues that have been raised, but also what we think needs to be done going forward. For instance, on the issue of that you have raised with other members on the delegation of responsibilities as outlined by the Constitution, there are specific recommendations that one has made in this regard, which I believe will assist us going forward. For instance, we said that this means that the President, as the appointing authority, that is page 6 of 10, as the appointing authority and the minister to whom a deputy minister has been assigned must specify the powers and functions of the deputy minister. This is just but one example. There are other recommendations that one has made, and I believe the other witnesses that have appeared before you, they have also attempted to make their recommendation, which the committee, as you conclude your report, will take into consideration the issues that were flagged there, and this will then assist us to become better people. Thank you.
My second last question, Honorable Deputy Minister, is just if you were a minister, how would you actually handle the whole matter of the disbandment of the PKTT, Honorable Mathale?
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. Thanks for that difficult question.
Just to remind you, Honorable Nomvalo had asked that question. Is it your intention to repeat it? The question that you have just asked, he had asked it before.
Well, I'm asking it in my own way. Yeah, thank you.
The same words in the same sequence have been used. So, look, there is no problem. If you want to repeat the sequence, it's okay.
Given where we are and what has transpired since then, it's clear that with hindsight, you will handle an issue like this with circumspect in such a manner that you don't create a problem for the institution that you are leading.
Well, thank you. That's a nice answer. Honorable Deputy Minister, suppose the minister had shared his reasons for the directive with you, and those reasons that he had actually outlined in his directive, the reasons for the disbandment of the PKTT, would you have agreed with him as sufficient reasons to actually disband the PKTT?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, honorable members. Obviously, we will have had an engagement, and the minister will have had the opportunity to have another view that will have assisted to then lead to a situation where a letter is crafted, but in a manner that it addresses or it becomes a product of that particular engagement. Mind you, he did indicate here that he didn't use the opportunity of what is available for him from his legal advisor to the deputies that he have and the national commissioner. He wrote it and in his wisdom send it through to the national commissioner. And I believe if he has used what was available, it might have been differently formulated.
Well, thank you. In fact, I was asking that question in the context of your statement on paragraph 43 on page 16, where you say, and I quote, "I do not necessarily agree with the reasons for disbandment." Thank you. The last one, Honorable Chairperson, has to do with the Right Honorable Mathale. I just want to know whether
Honorable who?
Mathale, not honorable only, the Right Honorable Mathale. I actually would like to know whether the Deputy Minister has ever at any time been treated to the hospitality and the generosity of Mr. Mathale, like the former minister, Bheki Cele, who actually cannot close his mouth, and his, the way he was actually treated, and the hospitality that was actually afforded to him in Pretoria, in Mathale's residence. I'm just asking whether the Deputy Minister has not had any opportunity to actually also benefit from that, from Mathale's hospitality and generosity.
No. No. I guess because we don't know each other. Yeah, but no, I haven't.
Would you share the last one? Would you share with us why Mr. Mathale's tender was cancelled?
Yeah, this is a funny one.
If you know.
Well, there was a meeting which, unfortunately, I was given other tasks where this matter came, and they then agreed they must look into it, and ultimately the processes led to the cancellation of the tender. What the reasons and everything around that cancellation, I can't give the details. I don't have.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mnyango.